guys, I'm Bill, and today I want to talk about data types and variables. In the last video, we talked about how to use Eclipse, but there was a problem. When we wanted to open Eclipse, it took some time because we had to find eclipse.exe. So I want to solve that. At eclipse.exe, right-click and go to Send To, and go to Desktop. And we'll create a shortcut on your desktop of Eclipse. You can rename it whatever you want. I'll rename it Eclipse Oxygen. Then what you can do is close out of this and just double click it to open Eclipse. Today I want to talk about data types and variables. And in the last few videos, we only talked about how to install stuff. So today I want to do some coding. First, let's start off with data types. Data types is just the type of data. It's really easy. And there are a few really basic data types in Java. The first one is string. String is just characters, a lot of characters. A text, a character, a vocabulary is a string. A long sentence is a string. And a list of unbelievable characters. These are also strings. Strings is just basically, you can think of it like a string with a lot of characters on it. The next one that I want to talk about is integer. Integer is also pretty simple. It's just integers, normal counting numbers, and also negative numbers, and also 0. But because it's an integer, it can't be a decimal number. So it can't be 3.4 or 5.5 or other decimal numbers. Next is long. Long is also integers, but long has a longer range than integers. It can store bigger numbers than normal integers. Next we get to float. Float is decimal numbers. It represents decimal numbers. It can also represent negative decimal numbers. And it can also represent 0. Double basically does the same thing. It also stores decimal numbers. But like the relationship between integer and long, float can only store a small amount of numbers, but double can store a larger amount of decimal numbers than floats. And the final two is char and boolean. Char can be used to store single characters like A, B, C, D, E, and single numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or single normal, not normal characters like these. Lastly, boolean. Boolean can only be true or false. Boolean can only represent true or false. It's like a light bulb. If it's on, it's only true. If it's off, it's only false. It's false. It can only be these two values. It can't be strings, it can't be integers, and it can't be floats, and it can also not be chars. These are the basic data types. Now that we've did data types, let's do variables. Variables, you can think it like a box. A box with a name, and you can put things in it. This is the basic concept of variables. To create a variable in Java, you start the line with the data type, Any of these data types will work, but there are a lot of other data types in Java too. You can explore that too. I'll name my string box or variable 1, and it will be 1. And then, after you write the data type, you will write the name of the variable. So in this example, I wrote 1. 1 is the name of the variable, or the box. Next, I can assign things to the box. I can put things into the box. I can put 1 in it. I can put strange characters in it, and many other things. But sometimes you don't want to use 2 lines to create variables. So you can straightly just put 1 equal sign and do an assignment 1. Let's create a few more variables. Integers 2 equals 2. Longs 3. Let's do float. Num equals 1.2. Oh my, what is this? Oh, it seems an error, and it says type mismatch. Cannot convert from double to float. Actually, in Java, 1.2 or any decimal numbers written in this form is considered as a double object. If we now create a double named num2 equals 1.2, it will have completely no problem. But you can't put a rabbit inside a dog box. You can't put a rabbit inside a dog box. You have to tell Java that 1.2 is a float. To do that, you need to add an F after the number. Then Java will know that 1.2 in this sense is a float. Let's create a char. C equals A. We can do that. Let's create a char. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, almost forgot. If you want to create a char, you can't use the double quote. You can only use the single quote. Like that. You can't put multiple characters in it. It will tell an error. Let's do a boolean. B equals true. And here we go. We can create all data types, all variables. Now, I want to talk a little more about chars because it's a little bit special. It can only represent 1 character. You cannot use this. You cannot use this. You can only use this one. Sometimes you will forget about that. But because it's a char, you can only use these 2. You can't use these 2. But maybe you're saying to me, what's the use of assigning variables? The use is that it can simplify your code a lot, really a lot. If I want to do a complicated math problem, maybe I'll do A, B, C, D, E, and Then I want to write down, let's see, then I want to write down a long math problem and solve it. Let's see, 100 minus 20. Let's do a long math problem. Divided by 12 plus an additional 364.537, and then take this to the power, or maybe not, and something like this. And then I divide the whole thing again by, let's see, divide the whole thing by 345 and plus 1.1133, 1123. If we're doing a really long math problem, this will look really ugly. Then we can just put it inside a variable. And let's see what error it says here. Oh, you can't have two variables with the same name. num3. And we can say num3. You can simplify your code a lot. Another thing is that if you want to accept inputs from other people, your user, for example, then you want to have something that you can change and is changeable. Variables are changeable. You can change the b variable to false. You can change num into 1.13.25f, and it's changeable. Variables can be used in a lot more ways than what I have just said. It has a lot of advantages, and it's a really good thing to know. And just a side note, if you want to print out a variable, you need to use println and put the variable name in it. And if you run it, it will just say 1. If we put num2, it will say 1.2. These are the basics of data types and variables. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to check out my website, www.whatsyouridea.com. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.